I've set it up. It's that one. Yeah. So it's recording.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Jen?
I'm doing.
I like how we're both with our heads. So let's sort this out. I'm hoping that this will, because the emails, I'm just not good at emails. When it comes to emails, I've been told it on a million different occasions. I just come across wrong on emails.
Okay.
So I'm hoping we can work towards a common goal to get this figured out.
Okay.
Yeah? Because I started writing an email to your last response, and I was just like, I reread it, and I was just like, this comes across. So first of all, going through that last email, let's start with hopefully the easier things first. When it came to the painting of the building, I didn't mean to list you as a contractor. There actually wasn't a permit that was needed for the thing. I must have just, all I can think of is I tried to put you down as the owner of the building, because I don't own the building. I didn't want to cause a problem there.
Mm-hmm.
So if I did put you down as a contractor, didn't mean to. There was no permit that was issued. It was just a repair that was done to the outside of the place. They just needed a paint match on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize for any extra, what's the word? Extra liability that I might have put on you.
Yeah, I just, I mean, because they called me when the permit was ready. You say it's not a permit, but they said the permit was ready. And they said to me that I was listed as the contractor. And from my experience of doing the contracting work on the house, anytime you pull a permit, they ask you who the contractor is, and the contractor has to be licensed, insured, and all that stuff to be listed with the city.
Well, that's a funny thing, because when I was up there and I was talking to them about what I was trying to do, they told me that there wasn't a need for a permit, and they handed me paperwork, and the paperwork that I was handed, basically, their concern was just matching the paint to make sure that the...
Yeah, because it's a historical building.
Right, exactly.
But still, it's still a permit job. Anytime you make any modifications, as long as it's anything that's like visible from the street, is always needed with a permit.
Well, that was the thing on the paperwork that I filled out. They asked if there was going to be any need for street blockage or anything like that, and I said no.
No, I know that doesn't. That's still not. It doesn't make a difference. It's just a matter of like basically they want to know what's going on. As long as it's not like just a superficial internal inside the house thing. They always require a permit, and the only person that can do a permit without being licensed, the only person that can do any kind of like contracting work without needing a permit is the owner of the house.
Okay. Well, I'm not planning on painting the outside anymore. Hopefully I won't be needing to fill out any more things of that nature.
Okay.
It was completely, and I guess this was just a learning curve for me.
Mm-hmm.
For painting on the outside, didn't mean anything impressive about it. It was honestly a way to get my name out there without having to get you involved. It's something that I can just paint over top of.
I know, but it's just, it's not something, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think that it's something that you should have just gone ahead and done without even mentioning, It was like, I was, when you sent me a picture, like, here's the touch-ups, and I see that, I was like, what, really? I was like a little bit blown away. Just because it's my building.
Because obviously I'd like to get a sign up there at some point in time. And I could definitely, I haven't done anything of that because I just haven't had the time to talk to you about it, and that's something that I'm definitely, something along those lines, if I'm putting a sign up there where I'm attaching something to the building or doing something that could cause harm to the building, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not trying to do anything at the building that's going to alter it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know, that was where the paint, and I can understand where you're coming from. But the
I mean,
paint
did
was
you even,
something-
was there even a permit involved for as far as getting it, I don't even, because is that even like allowed to have, you know, just your name straight up painted on a building?
Nobody's giving me any type of issue about it, and if they did, they would come with me about it.
They still-
Because, I mean,
But,
my
yeah.
husband's right here telling me that at his sign company, he has experience with that and that's not allowed. That's technically vandalism to the building,
And
whether
it
it's
is a
done
sign.
or not.
It's a sign, so.
It's considered a sign. If you don't have a proper permit for it, it would still be considered a sign.
So if somebody complained about it, you could get in trouble for it, and Jen could get in trouble.
Okay. Well, and I'm willing, I mean, I have people from the state in all the time, and nobody has given me an issue, and if they do, I will obviously handle that heat. When it comes to, a sign being put on the building, if you could send me any guidelines as to, where Allow Haka had their sign, or where you'd be comfortable with the sign, and how big of a sign, you'd be interested in, just so I have parameters as to,
I
just to
mean,
smooth things out in the future.
I don't have much of an issue with any sort of signs. I just would like to know what's going on. I mean, if you're gonna get like a sign with super bright neon or something, I'd ask that you don't put it right outside of one of my tenants' bedrooms. You know, they already have to deal with noise and music and stuff. So if you know, light could be avoided, that would probably be nice. But other than that, I mean, you know, the only sign that I have ever seen on the building was one that was just like put on the wall near the door. But I mean, whatever. And sign companies will handle all the permits for you. They'll tell you, you know, what's best for it and all that stuff. And I mean, I'm sure that they're the professionals. They can understand. They know how to do that better than, you know, I do anyway.
No, and like I said, I'm basically trying not to do anything to the building that's causing any major structural changes or anything to it, because it's one of those things where I'm not trying to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to do anything to the building.
I'm not even thinking that you, by painting the sign or anything, were trying to hurt or do whatever, anything negative towards it. Just the fact that the fact remains is that I should have been advised.
So,
I'm trying to see if there's anything in the last email to silence so I guess now we're on to the big stuff. We're on to the big here we go. So my plan as of right now, when I spoke to your parents about the stove, because they were in there, and I was just like, you know, I wanted to. It's easier for me when we're standing in front of the thing and looking at the situation. You know, it's easier for me to talk to people about it. Your father seems to think that it will come apart in two pieces, the main frame. I don't think he's right, and the other guy doesn't think he's right. But with all that being said, I will attempt to take it apart. You know, what I'm trying to do right now with the entire stove negotiation is to help things along down the road if there's a part here in the ways. I'm not planning on leaving for 10 years. I'm planning on being there for a good long time. Where my issue is I need, that space is so small and that thing is so much bigger than my needs. I need to have a spot in the kitchen where I can execute my menu efficiently and make the most of the space. And that stove is just ginormous. I've actually also incurred costs on the Ansel system due to the fact that the shelf on the back of the stove, all of the nozzles had to be taken out and re-put in and re-angled to a point where it's hitting all of my employees in the head when we're down there trying to fry wings and cut meat because of the way they had to be repositioned, which costs extra money. But I didn't gripe about that. I'm not griping about it. It's a cost that I was just like, I need it. I need an install system that needs to be done. But I didn't come to you and say the stove is becoming a burden to me, you know, on that angle note. If the stove needs to be removed, I agree that it's fine that if you want something else in there, it's fine, but if I'm going to be there for 10 years, God only knows how many times something might have to be replaced, or many changes, and I need a different piece of equipment. And okaying the stuff that I need for my business to operate through you, I think is an unfair request. I think that at the end of it, looking at what was there and looking at what is there, at that partner of the ways, is where I think that the conversation should be had. You know what I mean? Is that making any sense?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. On my perspective, I mean, you saw what was involved, you saw what was there, you saw the sizes of everything, you know, when we started all these agreements, and, you know, if, you know, you saw the contract saying that the equipment was to stay there and all that stuff. You know, if there were problems, you know, you had mentioned a couple of times that the stove might be an issue down the line. That, you know, either should have been immediately addressed at that point, or, you know, you could have, their kitchen could have been modified, a wall could have been slightly moved or whatever to accommodate other stuff that you needed. You know, if before you did construction, before you added the bar counter and everything, if you wanted to expand the kitchen or whatever, you know, there was a little bit of room to move in.
I had no desire to move the wall or anything like that. The size of the kitchen is fine. The stove is the issue, and I did make note of it. And if I didn't get it put in the lease, then that is my bad. But I made it abundantly clear from the get-go that the stove was most likely going to be more.
No, the call ended now. Yeah, it like something popped up and said like that it was like timing out or something.
I wouldn't mention that. He had mentioned that.
We've talked about it already.
She's passed out, so she's trying to call out the wife.
I think it was me. I think I got logged out of my email for some reason.
No worries. So yeah, I mean, if it fell on me for not having it written up in the lease, it falls on me for not being written up in the lease. But I have no problem with removing it. I have no problem with the install on the new thing. I think in the lease it already states that something, you know, on both ends, that items that were left behind or items that I have put into there, you have an option to buy out. And obviously the opposite way. And that's the whole reason, again, this is why the emails, I think, come across wrong. The whole reason why I was trying to get you to have somebody come in and assess it and price it out and all that other stuff was so that we had a common baseline at the end of the lease termination.
And I get that. I understand that, but like I had explained as my comparison with the old car thing, you know, if you get somebody to come in there, they're going to tell you, oh, well, it's worth, you know, $50 because, you know, it's 10 years old or 20 years old or 40 years old or whatever the hell it is. and you know that it's whatever, and they're gonna give you they're gonna give you their estimate, but their estimate is not the same as what you would be able to either resell it for, or the value to a person that needs a stove, that needs a piece of equipment like that.
But the thing is the stove can't come out of there in one piece. Like we both know that. So selling it really isn't an option.
No, it's as a fixture to the house. It's like, you know, you have a jacuzzi in the house, and you say, hey, I'm going to take it out and put a you know, one of those plastic bathtubs in it. And it's like, okay, well, you know, it's usable or whatever, but what if somebody wanted the jacuzzi to take out the plastic piece of shit tub and put a jacuzzi back in, it's going to cost money.
Right, and I'm saying that I'm willing to put equipment in there.
And I agreed with that, as long as it's within reason. I'm worried that if I say, hey, yeah, that's fine, just replace it with whatever and we'll figure it out later, you're gonna buy like an electric griddle from Walmart and say that, oh, well, that's the replacement.
See, this is precisely why I wanted to talk to you about it. Because I'm not going to buy an electric griddle from Walmart and put it in there. Like, that's what I'm trying to do at this point, is to rest your mind assured that I'm not, I mean, Jen, I'm just not out to get you.
Okay, but you know, you also have to realize, on my perspective, when we were negotiating rent and everything, you had told me, oh, it's gonna cost, you know, 10, 15 grand or whatever, and I based the discount on rent based on the cost that you had given to me on the estimate or whatever from that company or whatever. But in the long run, you didn't get that company to do it. You didn't do everything that was listed on that estimate. So, you know,
completely totally redone. You have brand new floors in that place, which is what we agreed to do.
Yeah, but on the estimate that you had given me was a new subfloor and a new this, and it was, you know, it was going to be done by like a proper company with
Actually, there's a brand new subfloor underneath that floor. We had to rip up one entire level of the subflooring because of how unlevel it was. Like there were 3 different levels of flooring in there, and you have about 6 more levels that was built on top of each other.
I know.
I mean, I wasn't going to rip all that out, nor was the other company. But I mean, the flooring, I don't see. Back on the stove thing, like if the flooring is what's concerning you.
No, it's not. It's not what's concerning me. It's just that unless we have things, you know, very written out and you know, followed through with, I feel uncomfortable.
No, that's why I wanted to talk to you, was to try and have a conversation with you, to try and make you as comfortable as possible. And if that's, you know, if you know, looking at the lease, I'll look at the lease again, look at the letter of the lease, and see what's said in there. I mean, I'm trying to do things as nicely for you as possible. Like I'm honestly trying to do you as many extra favors as possible in this thing. Where, like, one of the things, and I can completely put it back in if you want, but I removed all the asbestos from the basement. Like, all of that is gone, which is a very costly thing for me to do. I did that just because, A, I don't want the health issues, and B, I don't think that you really want to cough up the money for asbestos. Now, if you want, I can throw it all back in there. I don't think that does anybody any good, but it's one of those things where I did it just because it was something that, you know, it was something that I knew how to get rid of, and I was trying to do you a solid.
Did you have a company to come and do that?
No, I just took it all out. You had it in a garbage bag. You had it in a
So
garbage bag.
So you threw out a garbage bag?
What's that?
So what you did was throw out a garbage bag? Was the solid you did for me?
I didn't throw out the garbage bag. I actually have it on my property right now outside, so there's nobody breathing in asbestos in the basement.
Okay, well,
I'm just confused because you just said you did me a favor of removing asbestos. So you just took a bag out of the basement is what you did.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't see it as that good of a thing, that's fine. It's not like I'm looking for big favors or anything like that, or anything. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you that, you know, it's a very costly thing to do. It's something that you would eventually have to, it's a bridge that you would have had to have crossed. that you don't have to cross it.
I actually don't think that's true. I think that if you leave it alone, that it's fine. You don't actually have to touch asbestos. From what I understood while I was doing construction, is that if I left everything alone, didn't touch any of the asbestos, it could stay exactly where it is. You could have it encapsulated.
Okay, no worries. I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm just not trying to fight you. I'm just seriously not. So we'll like I said, the plan on the stove right now is to disassemble it, put it in the basement, and to reassemble it at the end of the lease. That's the plan that I'm going with right now. I do have to get something in there to develop my menu properly. Like, the space just doesn't work. But that's what I'm going to do, which is precisely what the lease says to do. Is store everything just down there, and as long as I put everything back, you know, life is good, which is the plan that I'm going with. Like I said, your father pointed out to me that there's an I-beam, or some kind of thing that goes down the middle of it, where he seemed to think that it might come apart. I just haven't had the time to take it apart, because it's definitely going to be a huge project to do. But hopefully he's right. Hopefully he's right. We can all hope that way, you know. And then this whole entire thing has just been a huge problem that's a moot point. So I will definitely keep you in the loop as to what's happening. I can show you what I'm buying for the place, but for the needs of my business, I'm just going to do what I need for my business. And if for some reason we can't get the thing back, we can't get it apart and get it back in there, you know, you can definitely make sure that I don't have a Walmart griddle in there at the end of the thing.
Okay.
If I was to do that to you, I would expect you to come at me with all the guns blazing in the world. Like, that's just, because you have a child, I won't say the word I was going to say, but that's just a poopy thing to do. It really is. I guess the only other things that I wanted to touch base with you on, obviously with the electrical, once it goes back down to the baseline, we can come down to an amount for the extra things. There is a matter of, I just had Mark Selmer in. He's estimated about an extra 2 hours, and he's going to write something up explaining to you what the problem with the plumbing was back then, which was a couple months ago. And we can hash that out as you read about it and things like that.
Okay.
He's basically, I believe his thing was, and when I have it, I'll know, it was about an extra 2 hours of work due to a situation in the pipes that was no cost of my own. But we can handle that once we get the paperwork and read it. The door needs closing. Like, my customers are just full. You know, at this point it's December.
Of course.
And, you know, I need that taken care of. And then, did you get the video on the leak?
Yeah, I did. I have the, I don't know, I think my super guy said that the last couple of times he's come to, like, do some work on the studio upstairs, that you guys haven't, neither you or the second floor guys have been there for him to talk to you and introduce himself and whatnot. But he will be taking care of everything. The door thing, my mom said that she had talked to somebody and she was waiting for a response for them to come take a look at it. She just got to Portugal today, or yesterday, so I'm gonna talk to her again and see if we could find out who this company is and see when they can come. But that's something that I plan on taking care of, obviously.
Yeah, because I'm also just losing heat at this point. Like,
of course.
It's also just a matter of, you know, heat is costly.
Of course, yeah.
And it's cold in there.
So yeah, I'll try to have that done as soon as possible. I'll make a note to see if I can take care of it today.
Awesome. And again, the only reason why the leak is so concerning is just because it's right by my TV in the back room.
Yeah. That's why I forgot where I was going with the super thing. But yeah, he's that's why he was gonna go to the second floor guys to take a look at the sink and see if there was a problem with that. But that kid Jack Christian, whatever he goes by, his real name's Christian, but I guess they call him Jack. He said that he peeked under there and that there was like a little tiny drip, and so he's gonna have the super guy will come and take a look at it and see if there's anything to be repaired. I'm hoping that it's that, because if it's not, I have no idea where to go from that. Because
well, in the comparison of when there was a leak months ago, where you thought it was the rainfall coming down, it wasn't that size of a leak. Like, I wasn't pulling down drains and filling up buckets full of stuff. It was just some dripping. And we haven't gotten rain. We got rain last Wednesday or Thursday, so there was a 2 or 3 day difference there between when the rain falls.
Yeah, and
so
Christian also had said that he had just finished doing dishes like 20 minutes before you came up or something. So I'm assuming / hoping that that's the case.
They never take care of it. They don't tell you.
Yeah, they're young guys that don't give a shit about anything. So I never find out any of these problems until it's already too late.
And that's the other thing. Like, yesterday I came in and there was garbage just piled outside the curb in front of their door.
What day is garbage day? Monday?
Monday.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's one of those things, Jen, where again, I'm just not trying to berate you with little tiny things. Like, it's garbage, and is it a nuisance? Yes. Is it something that I could call you about? Yes. I'm not. I'm trying not to.
I mean, I would hope, and I'd like to see that both you and them are able to communicate on these little small problem things, or things that you guys can handle amongst yourselves. Obviously, if it doesn't get handled, come to me. But if it's something that can be.
But in the spirit of a stress-free tenancy, like, I know there are tenants out there that can just pound the landlord about every last little thing. And I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm trying to handle things as much as I can without involving you, because I understand that you're a very busy woman. And it's just funny because you have children and you're running a restaurant, and I have children and I'm running a restaurant. So I have a feeling of how busy you are. And that's where it's just trying to do the decent, I guess, the golden rule. I'm trying to do to you what I would hope that you would do to me. And if I stumble along the way and I do something that annoys you, I'm not trying to do that. It's never a malicious thing. I'm very happy in that space, and I'm very, the business is coming along well, and things are good, and I'm on time with my rent, and
I appreciate all that.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm just not trying to be a burden to you, and it's hard for me to say it in an email, and it's hard for me. Like, and when we were texting, God only knows last week during the week when it was testing, like if I'm in the middle of my business, I'm the only one there most of the time.
Yeah.
So if I have customers there and there's a leak and I'm trying to text you, I don't want to be short with you because I don't want this to erupt into, a battle. I don't want to fight you. I just want to work with you. I mean, I can only imagine being where you are and having the situations up here to deal with. I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't think I could be that hands off where you're in a whole different country and there are problems.
It's stressful in a whole different way, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to be stressful to you, but I am trying to do the best for my business that I can.
That.
And there won't be a Walmart griddle. Like, that's this whole thing. There won't be a Walmart griddle. I promise you that. Like, there's going to be a nice cooking piece of equipment. And at the end of it, I honestly don't see me leaving. I really just don't.
I don't expect it. I mean, we have a nice hard lease, so I don't see it ending prematurely or quickly, But I'm also, like, you try to protect your ass, I'm trying to protect mine.
No, and I understand that. I understand. And like I said, if there is anything, I'll try and get some other. If there are permits or anything like that that's coming along, at this point, I'm a little less hack and slash. A couple of months ago, I was just trying to get things done, and I was trying to keep the business running, and I was trying to keep everything, all the balls in the air. And if I did mess something up, it would probably due to the fact that I was really just if I had a second to get to City Hall, oh my God, like I just ran to City Hall and like filled out paperwork as quickly as I could. Things are becoming more systematic for me, and as they become more systematic, small errors like that are less likely to happen. You know, it's just the startup of the business where there's a lot of crazy stuff. I don't know. Do you have anything more for me? I think I've pretty much touched all bases.
No, I think that's most of everything.
Yeah. Well, then it was nice talking to you.
Yeah.
And, do you feel better about the situation at all?
I don't know. I hope that it works out and everything. I don't know anything until it actually happens. I don't like to guess. The tenants occasionally complain about noise and stuff, and I know that you also have complaints about them with noise occasionally. Try to see if you can be okay with them and, you know, somewhat respectful. One of my tenants is moving out this month because he couldn't handle the noise.
No, I've spoken to Joe. Joe, actually, I have the best communications with.
Yeah.
He actually, between me and the wall, he's had a lot of complaints about Justin in general. There's a certain level of noise. I don't think that my noise is above and beyond what a bar would be.
No,
I'm not
yeah.
playing thumping hip hop, but I will say this: the day that I texted you about it was the night before Thanksgiving. His guitar playing, and he locked the bottom door. Like, I tried to go upstairs to knock on the door to talk to him like I have in the past, without having him turn it down. And I couldn't get downstairs, and I rang the doorbell, and he didn't come down. And it's one of the busiest bar nights of the year, and his ridiculously loud guitar playing had some of my customers leave, which is the super stressful thing for me.
He showed me the message that you sent me, and was only like, "Hey, dude, your music." Yeah, I mean, like that's not like shut up, you know. Like it was vague. You could have elaborated. If he made it like a little hard for you to go speak to him face to face, you could have actually, you know, specified.
No, and I'll be more direct with the history that I've had with Justin about noise complaints and going up there and knocking on the door and talking to him about it. I think that I didn't think that the need for being direct due to the history of him and I talking it out was necessary. I think that he understood the message.
I don't fully doubt that, but you know.
And that's the frustrating thing, is where his guitar playing is affecting my business. Like, I can understand that living above a bar can't be ideal. You know, I also can't, you know, it's a bar. Like, people listen to music, you know, open until late hours. It's a bar. Like, that was something that was agreed upon at the beginning, was the fact. And it's not an overly ridiculously loud bar. In fact, Joe mentioned to me that one of the problems is on Sunday, and I have a guy down there, and I've talked to the guy about playing it. I think Sundays are probably the bigger day of the issue, and I've spoken to him about it. But there's still a level of the amount of noise that can be made in my place. Nobody's playing it at the maximum level, but his guitar playing, like, I walked down to the laundromat on the night before Thanksgiving just to get some air to calm myself down, and I couldn't even hear the bar's music down at the laundromat, but I could hear his guitar playing clear as can be. Like, it was absurdly loud.
That's not that bad.
I guess it's because the windows are right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old house and whatever, and there's no, like, mild insulation on the outside and everything. But, like, I mean, I understand both ends, okay? I understand your part, and I understand that he has to deal with it, and once in a while, you know, he wants to blow off his steam. He probably could be a little bit more respectful with volume or whatever, but, you know...
So we don't know the frequency and stuff.
But,
I mean, the fact is, he can play it loud, it's just, he's taking it to a level that it's ridiculously loud.
Yeah.
Like, and it'd be one thing if it was a one-case scenario, but there was the other point a couple months ago where the lady across the street came across the street, and she was ready to rip me a new one. She was the one who actually spoke up about the noise complaint.
But I mean, if he's making
concern with
noise,
the bar.
if he's making like, you know, I understand the night before Thanksgiving, good business day, you don't want to scare people off when you're trying to make money. I understand that. But if the problem is once every couple of months, I don't see it being that big of a problem, personally.
Oh, it's just a matter of, at that point, it's one of those things where the lady across the intersection came across the street due to the noise. Like, that's how far the noise is traveling. Like, it's not like he's just annoying me.
Yeah.
Like, when he's loud, he's really loud. Like, it's a different, and the ironic thing that I see is the fact that he would probably play louder than he could in most places due to the noise in the downstairs. But he's taking it to a level where it's aggressive, where he's drowning out the noise from the downstairs. And it's like, you know, it seems to me, you know, that he could embrace the fact that he could play a little bit louder than he could other places. But you know what, the fact remains is this is nothing, and there hasn't been an issue since then.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it won't, and I'm not trying to be a problem for the guys upstairs as much as, you know, I'm just trying to run my business. Like, I'm just trying to make dollars.
Of course.
And when his music prevents my dollars from being made, you know, it'd be the same thing as, you know, if, I don't even know what to compare it to, you know.
No,
if
I
you're
understand the
standing outside
situation.
Orating my customers, you know. So, yeah, Justin and I, you know,
Russ is suggesting, my husband's suggesting that you should invite him to go play down in the bar once in a while.
I wouldn't want him to play at the bar. He's terrible.
I'm doing an all acoustic thing on Fridays and Saturdays, and Justin was in the bar like 2 weeks ago, and I pitched it to him. I was just like, if you can play acoustically, I was like, I'd love for you to come down and be one of the people that I offered him money to play in my place, and he hasn't followed up at all.
I wouldn't want him playing. He's terrible.
That's not nice.
The olive branch has been made in that department, and he's just thrown it away with, you know, not wanting to embrace playing down.
Yeah.
And I guess the worst scenario would be if I'm having an all acoustic thing, which is quiet, and then all of a sudden he comes in with his loud, you know, and a guitar over top of these guys that aren't plugged in at all. Like, but that hasn't happened. So much to what you were saying earlier, you know, until it happens, who cares? You know, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully there's, you know, there's peace and love for everybody from here on out. But yeah, I like this. I think this. I feel better. The emails were just. It was becoming a list of things, and you know, lists just tend to build up animosity, and I don't want animosity. We don't have to have it. I would also like a stress-free tenancy.
Sounds good.
But at this point, unless there's something else, I have a list of things that I have to do before I leave.
Yeah.
No problem.
Good talk.
But thank you for taking the time out, and I'll touch base with you, and I'll keep you in the loop on everything.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay?
All right.
Hey, good. Take care of that baby.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.